Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I am in desperate need of resetting my habits and kind of getting back into the rhythm of reading because I just got back from a trip where I went to Charleston to visit my brother, and it was a beautiful 5 days going to Charleston, spending a few days there and then coming back. But my house is actually not that messy. I just have a bunch of laundry to do from the trip, which I feel like is normal. Anytime you get back from a trip, there's always laundry to do. I have not been reading this entire trip, and I'm gonna give you a reading update in just a minute. If you're new here, my name is Shelby. I love to read. I love sharing all the homey, cozy, bookish things with you. I love creating videos just about my real life, and I love for it to feel authentic and like you're invited into this space, kind of like we're always on FaceTime. So I hope that you will stick around. Thank you so much for being here. So on the way to our trip to Charleston, I finished With a Vengeance by Riley Sager on audiobook. This fell a little bit flat for me. I have been talking to my friend. Her name is actually Shelby too. I found her on TikTok, but she also has a YouTube channel and she's amazing. But we have kind of similar book taste, and we were reading this at the same time, and so it was really fun to be able to talk about it at the end, talking to somebody that's actually read it. This was so fun for the 50s vibes. It takes place in one night in like a 12 or 13 hour time span. It's very reminiscent of Agatha Christie novels, which I grew up reading Agatha Christie novels. I remember specifically every time I go to the library, I would go and see which ones they had that I hadn't read, and I would bring them home. I read so many of them, and this is kind of like Murder on the Orient Express meets And Then There Were None with a modern twist, just because it's written, you know, in modern times, but the setting is actually in the 1950s. And so I thought it was very atmospheric and vibey for the fall. I feel like I could really picture it. It kind of felt like a Knives Out film with Agatha Christie stuff, and for that he did a really great job. Now the plot fell a little bit flat for me. I think I'm rating this a 3-star just because I enjoyed the time, but there were some things that bothered me a little bit, and I don't share spoilers on this channel, so if you want to talk about it, potentially figure out a way to message me on like TikTok or something and we can talk about this book. But overall I enjoyed it, just wasn't the best, but I think that if you go into it thinking it's just gonna be a fun vibey time, you're gonna enjoy this one. So I finished this via audiobook on the way to Charleston, and then I picked up Beach Read by Emily Henry. If you have been watching my videos for any amount of time, you know this is one of my favorite books ever, and this is coming from somebody that is not a romance reader. So I love this for so many more reasons than the romance, but the romance does feel more on the realistic side to me. I love January and Gus, and I have read this book. I think I've read this book 2 or 3 times at this point. Actually, I know I've read it 3 times because I looked on Goodreads. So I've read this 3 years in a row, and it is about the time of year when I feel like picking it up again. My husband and I's anniversary was also this past weekend, and so for some reason it felt like a fun time to pick up Beach Read around our anniversary. I read like 50 pages of it in one night, and then I was so busy on the trip that I didn't have any headspace to read at all, and when I did, I really didn't want to pick this up. I kind of wasn't in the mood for a romance anymore, and so I'm not, obviously I've already read this, I'm not DNFing it. I think I'm just not going to reread it this year, and I'll probably save it for next year or whenever I am ready for it again. And the book that I'm currently reading, I started this a couple months ago, and then I got in a weird slump and I never finished it, but it's actually a novella. It's called The Letter Slot by Owen King. This is Stephen King's son. It's an Amazon original story, so it's like got a bunch of, I guess, horror or thriller authors to do the novellas, but this one has sounded very intriguing to me, and I am sort of going into it blind. But basically this kid has to write a letter of some kind for an assignment for school, but he brings the letter home with him, and on the way home he passes by this like creepy house that has been like burned down or something, and he decides to leave the letter there, and then he goes home. Because I've read more of the book than I'm currently at, I think I'm at like 38%, he basically gets a reply from this for this letter, and so he's like, oh, like, is somebody living in this house? And so it's kind of like a spooky haunted house vibe type thing. I have really been enjoying reading this, and the writing is very similar to Stephen King, and I love Stephen King. But I'm telling you all this because the point of this video, or the point of this week, is going to be me getting back into my reading habits and prioritizing it, really trying to be good about not being on my phone. And I kind of just need to reset my habits with reading. And that's going to start tonight because I'm going to take a shower, make a late dinner for us, and then I really want to finish this novella. And I definitely should be able to do that because it's a novella. I think the total time, it says I have 35 minutes left of the book. Sometimes it says that and I actually read slower, so maybe an hour, but I'll definitely be able to finish that. And then tomorrow I'm gonna pick a new book, and I'm very excited. I don't do very well when I pick a new book at night for some reason. I don't know what it is, but my mood reader side of me, I guess if I pick a book at night, then I don't have enough time to really get into it before I go to sleep, and then the next day I somehow am not in the mood for it anymore. So I'm not going to put myself in the slump. I'm just going to finish this because I'm very excited to finish it, and then tomorrow we'll pick a new book together, and I'm just going to take you along on a very chill, cozy week in my life, trying to read more, trying to be on my phone less, and doing all of the other habits that I need to get into. Good morning. I have had a slow morning and it has been so nice. I slept really well. I just have not been on my phone. I've been doing a quiet time and sitting outside because it's finally cooled off a little bit. I think it was 65 degrees when I woke up. It doesn't feel crisp yet. There's still a little bit of humidity in the air, but it is so pleasant to be out here compared to almost 100 degrees. I think it's going to be in the 70s today, but I did not finish the what's it called? I didn't finish the letter slot last night. I think I have like 20 minutes left of the book. We ended up having a late dinner and I was cleaning and doing some laundry and stuff, and so I just didn't get around to finishing it because I was so exhausted that I just went to bed. But it feels so nice and I would love to get a walk in, so I think I'm gonna put on some activewear and take my Kindle on a walk and read. I see people doing this all the time. Honestly, I would really love to walk more. I know that it's so good for me, but when it's hot outside, it's just so difficult for me to be in the heat. And anyway, it just gets so hot in the South in America. So now that it's pleasant, I would love to take my Kindle for a walk. I love doing audiobook walks, but I want to change it up and not have as much noise because yesterday we listened to a good chunk of Harry Potter Order of the Phoenix. It's the next Harry Potter book that I am on, and my husband and I have been listening to it on the car rides when we went to Charleston and when we came back. We're like 50% through the book, but literally all day yesterday in the car we were listening to it, and I'm kind of just wanting to enjoy the quiet. You can probably hear a train in the background. I'm kind of just wanting to enjoy the quiet and have a low stimulation day. So I'm gonna get dressed, I'm gonna get my Kindle, and then I'm gonna go for a walk around the neighborhood. I don't know if I'm gonna bring my camera and film it. I probably won't because I'll feel too awkward carrying this whole thing around as well as my Kindle, but I'll update you when I finish the book. Then we can just get going on this cozy reset day. I'm excited to pick a new book later, and I have no idea what I want to read. Alright, I'm back from my walk. I just made this beautiful smoothie. This is what I call my berry cheesecake smoothie. It is just frozen berries. I have the ones from Costco. I think it's like blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, a scoop of vanilla protein powder, about 1/4 cup of cottage cheese, a little bit of honey, a splash of vanilla, and milk. And it literally tastes like cheesecake. It's so good. And you can tell how like fluffy it is. It's so good. I want to talk about the letter slot real quick. Finished it on my walk. I walked really slow and it was so nice because there was like nobody out there. It was quiet. I could hear nature and I just walked really slow until I finished my book, and it was really relaxing and it feels good outside. I really enjoyed the book. I feel like with novellas, it's hard for a novella to pack a 5-star punch, you know, because you're not spending a lot of time with the characters. It is in a way kind of rushed, and I think the only novella I've ever rated 5 stars was, what is it called? It's by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Evidence of the Affair, I think. I loved that book. I don't know why. The letter slot is following this boy named Blake, and he and his mom are down on their luck. He is assigned to write a letter for one of the classes at school, and he basically goes by this creepy old house and throws the letter into the old letter slot of this house and thinks nothing of it. He thinks he's disposing of it. He's always been intrigued by this house, you know, whatever. Well, he gets home. There's a letter on his bed that's a reply to the letter that he just dropped into the letter slot. So it's a little bit of like magical realism, I think, because throughout this novella, every time he writes a letter, drops it off at the house, he gets a reply on his bed. Like the letter just appears on his bed. It's not like somebody's breaking in and putting it there. He's talking to this person that he calls pal through letters that he's putting into the letter slot and telling them all his problems, and they're basically saying like, we can make a trade. Like, you tell me the name of somebody that you hate and I give you some good luck, basically. It kind of goes from there. Like is not really wanting bad things to happen to other people, but he cares so much about his mom and what's happening in his own family that he wants good luck and he doesn't know what else to do. I don't really want to give it all away because I thought it was very good, and it wasn't like a horror creepy book that I thought it was going to be. It was kind of more contemplative, and it kind of just makes you think, and it does have like, I think it's good for the fall because it does have the creepy haunted house element plus the magical realism. It's basically just like, what would you do to make things better for the people that you love? Like, how far would you go? Like, where is that line between something that's just downright bad or morally gray? Definitely like a lot of questions around moral stuff, and I didn't really expect to get that from it, but I really enjoyed it. And I think I'm gonna rate it 3 stars. That's just kind of like my average. I very rarely rate something 2 stars, and my 1 stars don't even exist because at that point I've already DNF'd the book. A 3 star is very average. 4 star is like, really loved it, next to nothing wrong. 5 star and 6 star, kind of self-explanatory, but I enjoyed it. I feel like it's perfect for if you're trying to keep out of a reading slump and you want to read something fast, like in an hour, it would be great for you. Or if you're like me and you don't want to pick up a full-on book yet, you just want to read something to have something to read, but you're not like fully committed to like 300 plus pages, I think that this is a good place to start. And I didn't think it was very creepy, so if you don't like creepy stuff, I wouldn't worry about it, but I enjoyed it. And I'm gonna drink this smoothie and then I'm gonna get dressed for the day. My plans for the day are to fold laundry because I have clean laundry that I didn't fold before the trip, plus whatever I cleaned from the trip. I basically have a lot of folding to do. And I'm also going to pick a new book today, and I want to make a iced latte because the person that was staying at our house to watch our dog while we were gone, she made homemade pumpkin spice syrup for me, which was so kind. I'm so excited to try it. So I really want to try that today in an iced latte. And I think throughout the day I would love to spend some time outside because it's kind of, as of right now, it's kind of cloudy. The clouds might go away, but it just feels so good and I want to enjoy the weather because I feel like this whole summer I've been inside because it's just been too hot and too hard to breathe outside with the humidity. So I'll stop rambling. I'll update you later. All right, it's a while later. I have had lunch. I've had lunch and I have folded a lot of laundry. The rest of the day, my chores are just gonna be like cleaning the laundry and doing loads kind of as the washer is done and having to transfer it to the dryer. So I think it's a good time for me to make that pumpkin spice coffee and then pick the book that I'm gonna read next. That is so good. Oh, that's so good. Nothing beats at-home latte, for real. Having the homemade syrup, so easy to make flavored syrups, and they're so much better for you than store-bought ones. I highly recommend. First thing I actually need to do is to update my reading journal because I finished a few books since I last updated it. I also want to look at my fall TBR that I've written down and figure out what book from there I might want to read next. All right, I'm looking at my TBR, my reading journal, and I am looking at a few books that I'm interested in reading right now. The problem is that I am a slow reader, which is not entirely a bad thing, but next Wednesday, so 1 week from today, I am starting to read the new Robert Galbraith book. It's gonna be called The Hallmarked Man. I have been looking forward to this book for literally 2 years. I'm going to my mom's house and we're gonna make pumpkin muffins and we're gonna put on Andam Ambiance, and it's gonna be a fun fall day because it's both of our favorite series ever. And so we're gonna start reading this book together at the same time, and it's gonna be really fun. The reason I'm even saying this is because in 1 week from today I'm starting to read that, and for me, I don't like having multiple fiction books going at the same time. So whatever I pick, I need to be able to finish it before Wednesday, a week from today. And the whole point of me doing this video is to sort of be reading way more than I am on my phone. I have a relatively slow week, so that should not be a problem. Heck, maybe I could even read 2 books from my TBR. 2 that I'm thinking about reading right now. The first one is Wall Child by Tammy Borden. This is an indie TikTok author that I have been following, and she follows me back, which is so kind. But this is her mom's story of growing up in Nazi Germany during World War II. And so it's a fiction novel, but it's heavily based on her mom's stories, and I have been wanting to read this for a really long time. I have seen nothing but good things about it, and Tammy is just the kindest person ever. I really love watching her videos and seeing how soft-spoken and kind she is. You can just see the joy in her eyes. So I've been wanting to read her book for a while, and this is on my fall TBR, so I'm thinking about this one. The other one that I'm thinking of is Pet Sematary by Stephen King. I'm not a horror reader as of yet. I don't think I've fully tried horror, but I love Stephen King, and I really have been wanting to read this book because Ashlyn has read it, and I think it was her first Stephen King, and she doesn't love horror, but she loves this book, and she just talks so highly of how well it's written, how amazing the characters are. And so I always am missing Stephen King's writing, but I can't decide if I want to read this closer to Halloween potentially. I think that I've decided to read Wall Child. It just feels like the right timing. It feels like a book I can cozy up and really get lost in a story, but I think I'm in the mood for something a little bit deeper and more meaningful. Not that other books aren't meaningful, but I'm reading a lot of mystery thrillers lately, and I love it, especially in this season, but historical fiction is always my favorite genre, and so I just feel like it's time to read a historical fiction, and I'm very excited to get into this. So let's get to reading. Okay, immediate thoughts on Wall Child, 20 pages in. I really love her writing. It's very easy to read, but it also has an overall somber note to it, which is expected for World War II. I am loving the perspective of the main character, Wall Child, and kind of learning about her family. Her father is called to train for the army, even though he's not going to war. And it's sort of just walking through like the experience of the father not being in the home, and just how that dynamic changed the family and how close they are as a family, and how things basically just changed and things felt different when he's not there. And I also love, like, there's kind of an innocence to it because it's told from the perspective of a child. And obviously I think Wall Child's gonna grow up and throughout the book, but as of now she's a child, and so she's kind of just oblivious to like some things in the world and what things mean, even though she understands that there's something wrong, if that makes any sense. So really liking it so far. Good morning. It is the next day. It is Wednesday. It is like 9:15. I've been up since 6:15 this morning. Our alarm goes off at 7, but I just couldn't sleep any longer. I woke up seeing a streak of pink through our blinds, and I knew that this morning was going to be significantly colder. So when I got up, I got to watch the sunrise a little bit, and I got to sit outside and have a quiet time when it was 58 degrees outside, and it was just exactly what I needed. And then I started reading. I read for about an hour outside, and then I've gotten dressed and started some laundry. So I've had a productive day. I didn't touch my phone until like 8, almost 8:30, and I only went on there for like 5 minutes, and then I filmed a little like a read with me this morning, so I edited that really quick and posted it. But I really feel like, a friend was telling me yesterday, she was saying the longer you wait in the morning to get on your phone, the less you want to get on it, and that is so true for me. And so it's just like a reminder to myself that when I get up and I have a slow, quiet morning, it always sets me up for success as far as like being on my phone less. So a little update on Wall Child. I am now 90 pages in. I've read through chapter 8, and this is so beautiful. This is such a beautiful story. This is equal parts breathtaking and stunning and tragic, and I am just loving how she's writing about her mom. I already love Wall Child, even though we've only gotten like a little bit of her childhood, like a year-ish of her time as a child. It's really about like Wall Child's parents and her family and other families like them who were just gaslit by all the propaganda that was happening before the start of World War II in Germany with the person running Germany. I don't know if YouTube is gonna ban me for saying his name, but you know who I'm talking about. We're really getting a side of the war that I've never read about before. We don't really hear about people who were in Germany, who were Germans, who were not agreeing with everything that was happening in Germany, because I feel like a lot of World War II makes it seem that all of Germany was on board with this and everything that was happening with the Jews and all of that. And so this is just really eye-opening, and I'm learning a lot about another side of the war that I never have read about before. And it's written like a novel, so it's very, I wouldn't say like easy to read because it's definitely hard-hitting, but the language flows very well and it doesn't feel like you're reading nonfiction, even though technically is nonfiction. This is reminding me a lot of my experience when I read Between Shades of Grey. I loved that book. It was from the perspective of a child the whole time. It was a side of the war that I never read about before. I feel like you'd really like reading Wall Child if you liked anything similar to that. So far I highly recommend. I started on page, I think I was on page 56 this morning, and so I read, how many pages is that? About 35 pages this morning. And after going to the grocery store at some point today, really my only plan is to read a lot and to spend time outside because it's so beautiful. Tonight we're going to some friend's house for dinner, but other than that, I'm having a really slow morning, and it's really what I needed to reset. The whole point of this video is kind of resetting my reading habits, and so not having very many plans really helps me with that, especially when I felt overstimulated. I loved our trip to Charleston, but as an introvert, I had almost no quiet, and so having a slow week is exactly what I needed to kind of recover, recoup, get back on track with reading. So this is my update for Wall Child. Alrighty, it's sometime later. I'm drinking a crisp apple lollipop, which is so good for the fall time. I am sitting down to read this book. I have been doing my grocery run, making the meal plan, putting that away, honestly vegging out a little more than I should, but you know what? Today's about getting back on track. It's not about being perfect. And so when I'm conscious of it, I'm making the decision to stop being on my phone and to read, and we're leaving in like an hour and a half to go to our friend's house, but I think I'm going to be reading with my friend tonight. I will not be documenting that, but I should get some good reading in, and I'm very excited. So let's get to reading. Hey friends, it's a couple days later. Yesterday I kind of was just feeling blah, and I read, but I didn't read very much. I think I read like 40 pages yesterday, so not terrible, but I actually took a nap yesterday, and it was just one of those days I needed to chill and not use my brain. But this morning I woke up. I have been really good about not being on my phone at all in the morning, and it has been so nice to have a slow morning. But today I went outside and I read for probably an hour or more. I am now on page 219 out of 270, and I would really love to finish this either later today or tomorrow, and it's gonna depend on how my day goes. We're having some friends over for dinner, and so I need to clean a little bit, but not too much. But I really want to just read this because this is so phenomenal. We are now at the point when Wildchild is 16 years old. It's really just like kind of going through her life and the things that she had to do, the things that was requiring the youth to do, like all the different groups and camps and stuff. And so it's very interesting to hear the things that like were required and like when she did school, how that worked out and stuff. Her family has moved to the countryside now to be safer from the war stuff, and it's not completely safe, but it's better than like the main city that they were living in. And so I'm really loving the setting of this too. Like obviously I know this is a real story. It's very interesting and kind of cozy in a weird way how like we're seeing different parts of the country of Germany and hearing about it, and all of it is stuff that I didn't really know. So I feel like I'm learning a lot. I'm gonna go make lunch and then I'm going to probably watch YouTube while I'm eating and then read. Our friends are coming at 4:30 and I've got like 5 hours till then, so I would love to see how much I can read before that point, and I will keep you posted. Okay, I have got some fall things to share with you because I really want to start putting out some fall decor, and I just went to Target and got a couple things plus some other things that I just have had in my house, and I want to share them with you because I think that would be fun to add some fall decor to my house. I don't love to go super all out with my holiday decorations other than Christmas, but I like putting little things here and there for fall specifically. And the first thing I'm going to share with you is actually this blanket. I found this at the thrift store and it was a really good price. It's got these tassels on it. It's kind of hard to tell the exact colors through the camera, but I think this is such a beautiful, fun find for the thrift store, and I had to get it for the fall time. And the next things are things that I have had at home, which are these beeswax candles. I have some like regular taper candles too, but I love how these beeswax candles look for the fall time especially, and so it's just fun. But I need to put this one, I've already used a little bit, but I need to put this in one of my brass candle holders, and then this one is huge, so I don't know where I'll put it, but I need to find a place for these. The next one I actually found at Aldi. So Aldi has their like Aldi Finds section where they have home items that are new every week, and in the fall time they have candles. So I got this cinnamon pumpkin candle from there, and first of all, this was $3, okay? This is not on sale, it was just $3. The color is beautiful, it actually smells good. I tend to not go for like pumpkin candles because I don't like how they smell, but this smells more on the cinnamon side and it smells so good, and so this I think I'm gonna put on my shelves. And the next couple of things I found at Target. I found a few more candles at Target. These were on sale for $3. One of them's vetiver and moss and the other is black cedar, and these are really tiny. I think that they're a little bit smaller than this one, but I love having like mini candles in my bathroom, and the one I currently have in there is almost out, and so I thought these would be perfect to put little places around my house. And then I got this cute little wicker pumpkin. This was $5, and I think he's so cute, and I love this type of decor because it's so subtle. Like I have baskets literally everywhere in my house, so he kind of just blends in. It's still a fall thing, so I need to figure out where he's gonna go. And then I got this beautiful mug. This is a magnolia mug. I think it's like $5, but I don't know if you can tell. It's got like a mushroom engraved on it, and then the edges are scalloped. And I just love this brown color. I don't have very many mugs that are this size either. I have like a lot of big ones and a lot of small ones, but I feel like this is a good like medium-sized mug. So I'm very excited about this. And then the last thing is from Target, and it's these beautiful, like, I don't know what these are, like berries or buds or whatever. I love the color of these so much. I usually don't get like fake plants honestly, but I just think this looks beautiful. This jar is mine. It's handmade. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a handmade like pottery vase, and then I just stuck the buds in there, and I don't know where they're gonna go. So I think it'd be really fun as I'm cleaning my house today to kind of take you along, put some fall decorations out. All right, it is Saturday. I honestly feel as crazy as I look. I technically got ready for the day, but I just put on like PJs because it's Saturday and we have no plans. I am, how many pages? 222 pages into this book. So I read 40 pages of this yesterday. I think I read before I updated you, but I ended up not reading as much yesterday as I thought I would, which is totally fine because this whole weekend, it's Labor Day weekend and we have no plans other than going to church tomorrow. I've already made my post on TikTok and you know, the whole point of me doing this video is to work on being on my phone less and choosing to read more. But along with that, a friend told me about this app that basically it like blocks different apps for you, but not in the way that normal Apple does. It like will ask you a question and you can change the question. So for me, it says like create with a purpose, like why are you checking the app? And then I can unlock it, but it will delay 10 seconds before it actually unlocks, and you can choose that amount of time. And you can change it to like make you do a math problem or a word problem or something else. And the point is to make yourself slow down and be really intentional when you are using the screen time, which I have found to be very helpful this week. And so I have been on my phone a little bit, but another thing that I did in this is that it will only, you can change the amount of times obviously, but I have it set to where it'll only let me open the app 6 times. So in a given day, I can only open TikTok 6 times, and every time I open it, it will only stay open for 10 minutes. And I can go out if I want to, but at the 10-minute mark, it closes the app, and then there's a delay before I can open the app again. So that's been really helpful because I don't want to cut it out altogether. I enjoy creating, I enjoy sharing on TikTok and stuff, but at the same time, I don't want to be addicted to being on there. So anyway, I'm gonna put my phone away for probably the majority of the day and the majority of tomorrow. I have 150 pages left of this book, and I could probably read at least 100 pages of this today, if not finish it altogether. And I am just excited to finally dive back in. It's been a bit since I've had like all day to read. So I'm gonna warm up my coffee and maybe find lunch in a minute, and then I'm gonna read. Alright friends, it is final day of this vlog and I have already finished Wall Child. I finished this earlier today and this book made me sob, and I really wish that I had filmed it. I wish I had filmed my reaction to the ending because very few books have ever made me have that type of reaction. The other one that I remember most recently that I reacted this way to was 11/22/63 by Stephen King. Obviously very different books, but this book was just so incredibly moving, and I still, even though I've sat on it for a couple hours, I still feel like I don't have adequate words to really describe how I feel about this book and just what I think about it. Obviously, this is a 5-star read, probably a 6-star read, probably more than that. I don't think there's enough stars for this book. I'm still processing, but all I will say in order to talk to this video is that this is such a necessary side of the story to know when it comes to World War II. And you know, we think about World War II, and at least for me, I think about like America and Europe, specifically the Allies and people in that perspective. But this is coming from the perspective of a girl who grew up in Nazi Germany with a family who was not on board with everything that was going on in Germany. Also, just how much the Germans were actually gaslit by Hitler and by all the propaganda and stuff that was going on during this time. Sorry that it's getting really dark, so it's kind of hard to like get my lighting correct. Anyways, have read very few World War II books that had a different perspective. And the other one I read that I really loved was Between Shades of Grey. I don't have it next to me, but that book was about a girl in Siberia. And I think I'm discovering, well, I always knew I loved reading historical fiction, specifically around World War II, but I'm discovering that I am really enjoying finding these books about perspectives that are not as commonly talked about as much as the Allies. The horrible things that Waltraud had to experience and go through were equally as devastating as all the stuff that is commonly known about World War II and what the Nazi army was doing to people around the world and to their own people. This is a true story, and it is a memoir. Tammy Borden's mom is Waltraud. So she wrote this story about her mom, but it's written in the form of a novel, so there's dialogue. It reads very much like a traditional historical fiction, but just something about it just really got to me. And when I read the author's note, that is what made me break down and sob my eyes out. So anyway, I am happy to finish this vlog on a positive note, and finishing a book that I've really loved is a fun way to end the video, because I feel like a lot of this year I've actually been in a slump, and if you've watched any of my videos, you know I've been talking about this. Just with busyness and everything, it's been hard to keep myself out of the slump, but I have a bit of a slow few weeks ahead, and so I'm excited to really hunker down and read my physical TBR, especially my fall TBR. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this reading vlog, and I am so thankful for you for being here, for watching this video. This is such a fun project for me to do and a creative outlet, and I have found so much fulfillment and just joy in creating these videos and talking about the books that I love. So I hope that you'll be here next time. Thank you for sticking around and watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.